How's it going, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to round 2 of the locals feature matches from this past weekend. I hope you guys have checked out round 1. If you haven't, there should be a link to it up in the top right of this video that you guys can click on, or it should be annotated at the end of the video in the last 20 seconds or so. But in this round here, we have Drytron, Megalith Drytron, whatever you want to call it, versus DDDs. Yes, a channel classic, a channel staple, if you will. We had one DDD player at our locals this past week, so I figured had to get him on the feature at least one time. So, but he is going to have a very tough matchup. We know Drytron to be one of the better decks this format. Definitely a tier 1 contender. We'll see how well DDD will fare. But starting off here, a pretty solid play, Drytron Nova, classic, you know, into Link Karibo, trying to set up this curious play, activating the Revendread Evolution to go ahead and attempt to bring out that of Battle Lord, which I think has to be one of the most, like, busted engines in the deck. And when I say busted, it's just, like, a very good engine that kind of fits, like, the spaces left by Ben 10 and some of the other hits made to the deck. So be able to banish a Vendread from the graveyard to declare either monster spell or trap, and his opponent cannot activate cards with those effects, cards of that type for the remainder of the turn. So he did declare monsters there, so completely 100% Nibiru proof at this point, and just hand trap proof for the rest of the turn, which is huge. Gonna resolve Battle Lord's effect when it hits the grave to send a Vendread to add a ritual. Going to choose Ben 10 there, of course. Why not? Going to dump Alpha to the graveyard. Really just going to try to get Drytrons that he has yet to see yet in his opening hand right now off of this mill. And let's see if he gets it. Nova, Cyber Emergency, and he mills a Zeta, which I think he might have already started his turn with. Could be wrong. It looks like he's going to go ahead and use Alpha now. Tribute off that Ben 10 to search Megalith full. And he'll grab a light fairy off of that Ben 10 in the form of Manju. Of course, has not committed the normal summon yet, so we'll go ahead and do that now to pick up a copy of Medionis Drytron. So far, looking like a very productive turn. Probably going to just set up the standard Dweller Appaloosa play. I think that usually ends up being the standards like Link Karibo, Dweller Appaloosa. We'll see if he can go ahead and get that all set up here. He's going to go ahead and summon Megalith full by tributing Ben 10. He'll get full effect to add back the Ben 10 to, of course, reuse again, which is just absolutely huge. Doesn't look like he's actually using the Ben 10 there. Yep, okay, so now he's going to use the Ben 10 to tribute off to Ritual Summon from deck, or from hand, I believe. Megalith Ophiel. And we'll get that Light Fairy search of Lancia, which is just absurd, especially against DDD. He'll also pick up another Ophiel. Another full, rather, my bad. So yeah, this is where the rank 4 play is going to come in. He's got the Ophiel, he's got Manju, but I think he might be short on a Drytron, which is probably going to prevent him from getting into a Link Karibo. He also probably wants to keep that full on board, of course, because the ritual effect during the opponent's turn could probably bring out the Bethor for multiple pops. And that's going to do it for his turn. So just ending on Dweller, really nothing super extravagant here. And we're going to see Allure of Darkness to start things off. Still no Dweller being activated yet. I'm just going to banish Necro Slime. Resolving another Allure. Digging 4 cards deep now. Banishing a Thomas off of that. And we'll see if there's going to be any interaction just yet. It looks like there won't be. But he's going to use Swirl Slime. Pitching itself in a Necro Slime. That's when he's going to chain Dweller. There's Genghis on the board. So he knows he has a Lancia here. And now he's also under Dweller, which we know how much Dweller hurts DDD. I mean, it doesn't hurt so incredibly. I mean, it does hurt. We're talking about turning off cards like Lamia. We're turning off Necro Slime. DD Ghost. We're turning off quite a bit of cards here. But he's going to have Kepler anyways, and that's going to go through. No Ash Blossom. Kepler to add the Dark Contract with the Swamp. The Fusion. And that is going to be met with a Lancia on Resolution. So tried to play around the Dweller there the best he could, but Lancia, of course, shuts down that other method of fusion summoning. Well, at least from the graveyard anyways. But he can still fusion by banishing or sending from hand, I believe. I think you can either send and or banish. It looks like he's going to just do it by fusing from hand to get out another copy of Genghis. There is a bit of a glare, so I do apologize, but I believe that is just another regular Genghis. And that is going to bring back a Ragnarok. And he's going to send off that contract for Lamia. And it's not going to get banished because he's under Lancia. And there's Crystron Halqifibrax to summon out another Lamia. So far, looking like a very, very solid turn here. And now we're going to see a Synchro. So he must have had a level 7 Pendulum monster there. I'm not entirely sure which one it was. I know Ragnarok is a level 8. And he's going to go for the High King Wave Caesar, which is huge. It's an incredible card. It's a walking Solemn Judgment, I believe. Yeah. You can negate 2 special summons or two summons by detaching. It's not once per turn either. Very, very powerful card. He's going to head into the battle phase here and clear as much of his board as he possibly can. Yeah, I believe that is the High Wave Caesar, is the name of that rank 6. I think, hands down, probably one of the best extra deck cards for DDD. Yeah, it's the Wave High King Caesar. It says when a spell / trap card or monster effect is activated and includes an effect that special summons a monster quick effect, you can attach a material from this card, negate that activation if you destroy that card. Then you can make another DD monster you control and this card gain 800 attack until the end of this turn. So it's basically like kind of like a Solemn Warning on legs. Very, very powerful card. And our Drytron player might actually have a tough time here playing through it. He's going to try to activate a Drytron Engrave. And Wave High Caesar is going to say no. It looks like. Yeah, it's just going to say no. There's the detach. And I would imagine here he's probably going to use the boost effect on both Siegfried and itself. Ben 10 was still successfully tributed, though, as part of cost, so he will get to search a Manju here. And I imagine he's going to put that normal summon onto the field. Now, he does have to worry about Halqifibrax as well, potentially tagging into something like Formula Synchron. I know in my builds of DDD in the past, yep, it looks like on that summon, he's going to go ahead and chain it up into Formula Synchron. So imagine we'll see a Satellite Warrior come out at some point to blow up 2 cards, because I don't believe he has any Synchros in the graveyard at the moment. And Satellite Warrior sometimes is just the final nail in the coffin against most decks with this particular combo. Did open up a very solid field, I must say. Under that of Lancia and Dweller, still pulling off an incredible field. Going to negate another Drytron effect. Tasha being pitched. And, yeah, that's Wave High Caesar certainly putting in some work right now. Drytron player has Ashen Full in hand. Don't really know what else he could do at this current point. He does have a loaded graveyard. But of course, he's already exhausted 2 Drytron effects that have been directly denied by his rank 6. And that's going to do it for his turn. DDD back in the driver's seat here. Looks like he's going to set 1 after he draws for turn. Only a Manju in play right now, but it looks like he's just going to go for Satellite Warrior. Satellite Warrior is just going to pop that Manju, and he will gain 1,000 attack, putting him up to 35. Because he only destroyed 1 card. He gains 1,000 attack for every card destroyed by his on-summon effect. So we'll take 28 from Wave High Caesar and 35 to the face from that of Satellite Warrior, dropping him down quite a bit since he did take a little bit of damage early on in the previous battle phase. But that is going to do it for DDD's turn. No other plays to really capitalize on at the moment. His extra deck might be pretty exhausted at the moment. I'm not entirely sure what he picked up for turn, but I feel like he could have maybe done something else there to maybe potentially bring back Siegfried to get some sort of interruption on the board, but I'm not entirely sure. But we're going to see Zeta and Alpha. Going to recur that Meteonis Drytron back to hand. We're going to go ahead and see him play that now. And, I mean, Natasha's looking like a very good option right now as he brings that back. You're going to want to start to clear that board, and Natasha does a very good job of doing that. It looks like he's going to use Natasha there to gain some life points by targeting Zeta and gaining that 1,000 life points back. And he's going to go into Nightmare Phoenix, trying to suss out that back row right now, discarding Ash Blossom. So going to give up that Ash and hitting, I think it was a Dark Contract of the Witch. Was a trap card, and I believe that might have been Dark Contract with the Witch, which is basically just like Raigeki Break, for those that don't know. But he's done what he needs to at this point, and that's to get Tasha into the grave, and he's going to banish Ben 10 to Snatch Steal that Satellite Warrior, and then target Satellite Warrior to gain even more life points, putting him up to 4,050, I believe, here. So he took quite a bit of damage earlier, and now he's gaining it right back. Only has a High Wave Caesar on the field to worry about. It does have a graveyard effect, though. However, I think when it hits the grave, he can basically add a contract from his deck to his hand. Yeah, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add a Dark Contract card from your deck to your hand. So be able to search out your standard Dark Contract. And, yeah, that is a pretty nice card to be able to search in the deck right now. Yeah, so it looks like the card that did get destroyed that one was Dark Contract with the Witch. Checking the graveyard right now to see if going for a big push is really worth it. Will he be able to stop the onslaught of DDD effects next turn? And it looks like we're going to see the Underworld Goddess Synchro, or not Synchro, Link rather, come out. Which can negate, I believe, an effect that special summons from the graveyard. Just a very nice thing to be able to turn off. And that, of course, will proc the effect of Wave High Caesar to search a contract that will go through. He'll take 3,000 direct. Just reading off the effect to the opponent right now. So, could potentially turn off something like Necro Slime or Lamia. Or just anything like Ragnarok that summons something from the graveyard to Genghis. Very good thing to have there. And we'll see what our DDD player can do now. He does have Necro Engrave, banishing Wave High Caesar. We wouldn't be able to stop Necro Slime because it's not summoning something from grave, but... And it looks like he's going to fusion into Beowulf here. Interesting choice. Beowulf, I think, has 3k as well. So we'll be able to clear it in the battle phase, but it looks like he's going to change what he is going to summon into there and go into the High Flame King Genghis, which makes a little more sense at this point. Allow for those combos to occur. The combos we know DDD is capable of. We'll see if he's able to play his way out of this one. So Contract will grab Ragnarok, and he's going to banish Swirl Slime to summon Ragnarok from hand, which is huge. And that's going to proc both Ragnarok and High Flame King Genghis' effect to summon things from the graveyard. And I think he is, yep, he's going to negate Ragnarok, the summon effect of Ragnarok, with Underworld Goddess. But he still will get to summon. Yes, revealing his targets. So Siegfried is coming back off of the High Flame King Genghis. I believe he is negating Ragnarok there. One of them. Doesn't really make too big of a difference. Lamia getting summoned here. Sending off the Dark Contract and using Ragnarok to banish it. And that is going to be game one. DDD taking it rather easily. That recurability of DDD, very, very strong. Being able to put Drytron down in game one. So before we head into game two, here's a quick way that you guys can support the channel. If you're looking for any TCG accessories, check out Imperium Duelist at the link below. They offer a wide variety of products such as sleeves, deck boxes, dice, binders, apparel, and playmats, including my very own playmat, Blazing Permafrost, which is on sale now. You can get all of these amazing products for 10% off using my discount code WinnerKills10off at checkout and support the channel in the process. Alright, so we are back. As we just saw, DDD taking game one. Will they be able to take game two here? Playing into another Drytron board this time around. Didn't seem to really have a problem last time. The one thing that DDD has going against it that Drytron really doesn't is the consistency. You know, he can play through Dweller Lancey as we just saw, but does he have the cards that he needs to do it? We did see him resolve double Allure of Darkness, and you know, he did have the Lancey in hand, but at that point, do you really want to let those 2 allures turn into just straight up 2-pot greeds? Probably not. So we're going to see Manji, we're going to see Zeta. Battlelord is going to hit the field on the 3rd summon. Completely Nibiru-proof at this point. That's why if you can help it, ashing that Revenge Red evolution is a pretty good thing to stop, because if you have any extra hand traps at that point, you'll still be able to use them. And it looks like he's going to link into Link Karibo. And, or is he? Has not used Battlelord yet. So, okay, so going to use Battlelord first. Probably the best thing to do. Even though the Link Karibo would still be his 4th summon. And then linking those into not Relinquish Anima here, but going instead for IP Masquerena. Still going to be able to resolve Vendread Battlelord's effect, sending another copy of itself to the grave, and adding, of course, Cyber Angel Ben 10 from the deck to the hand. So, still having plenty of ways to get to Ben 10 to the hand, now with the Battlelord engine in the deck. And it looks like that's going to do it for his turn. Just Link Karibo, IP Masquerena. And we're going to see an upstart Goblin. He'll gladly take that 1,000 life points. And, ooh, you hate to see it. Droll and Lockbird on the resolution of that upstart Goblin. One of the cheekiest ways that you can Droll somebody is right off the rip of an upstart Goblin. Really just free real estate at that point. By the way, he does open up that Swirl Slime, pitching off a DD Ghost with it, and then using Ghost Effect to dump another Swirl Slime to the graveyard for that extra graveyard fodder. Very nice. So no searching here. Gonna slow him down a little bit, but luckily he does have Copernicus, which is unfortunately met with Ash Blossom. He does have Dark Contract in hand, but of course that is pretty much next to useless right now. But he is going to have Swirl Slime Engrave as a nice extender to bring out Lamia. And we'll see what he does here. Formula Synchron. I imagine that was a mistake. Yep, so going for Crystron Halqifibrax. And can either summon out Ghost here for a Siegfried play, which I think is an okay option. But he may only play 1 Ghost. I think my list used to play 2 because Ghost is actually not half bad. Allows you to get to Siegfried a little easier, especially in situations like this when you are basically down on advantage and want to at least establish a Siegfried. You know, turning off a Drytron Nova could be very, very beneficial. And it looks like he's just going to synchro for Gale Alexander. Could still possibly set up a Siegfried here, or a Crystal Wing if he does have a card to send with Lamia. And it looks like he is going to... Yeah, I don't believe Lamia, unfortunately, cannot send Pendulum cards for its effect. So he will not be able to do that. One of the downsides to Lamia, and I guess DDD for incorporating Pendulum stuff into it, cannot send Ragnarok to the grave, because it is a Pendulum card, so it just physically cannot hit the graveyard via Lamia. It does have to send a proper target. And I think they are asking a judge about it currently. I remember finding out the hard way, probably similar to this DDD player, that you can't unfortunately send Pendulums for it, but he's going to have to slap down that contract, get no use out of it, unfortunately, just so he can bring back Lamia. And we'll see if he's either going to go for Crystal Wing, or if he's going to go for a Siegfried. And it looks like he is going to use Gale Alexander to bring back Ghost, chaining IP Masquerena, and now Gale Alexander resolving. And we'll see what he's going to spin back with Nightmare Unicorn pitching Natasha. I imagine... You know, hitting the Synchro, hitting the Synchro is probably seemingly like the best idea, because if you get rid of that, you really don't leave him much else, except perhaps another Link 2 play at this point, in which the only thing you could probably expect to be would be a Gilgamesh, because the DDD extra deck is very, very tight. Yeah, so that is what he is going to go ahead and summon out. Gilgamesh And yeah, I would imagine it's just Gilgamesh there. And he is going to use Ragnarok's Pendulum Scale effect, paying 1,000 to bring back normal Genghis, which is not half bad because he can still tag out with the formula, or the Halqifibrax. And it looks like that is what he's going to do, chaining it to Zeta. Not getting the draw there, unfortunately. If he just waited for resolution, he could have gotten the draw formula just because the way it's worded. And it looks like he is going to now quick synchro with formula and Genghis into Siegfried, which I'm not actually sure if you can do that. One tuner. Okay, so I had to double check to make sure Siegfried didn't take a DD tuner, but it's a non-DD tuner, which he did have there. So Siegfried able to hit the board, which is nice. Could have used Ragnarok there, I believe. And it looks like he is remembering to do that now. I'm not entirely sure. Or he might not be using it. I can't really tell. It looks like he's not going to. Matenju is going to get normal summon, though, regardless, and that is going to add Megalith Ophiel. And now he is going to link into... We'll see here what he's going to go into. Nightmare Cerberus, Phoenix are both viable options right now. He does have Nightmare Unicorn established. Could set up the co-link draw to gain more advantage here. Really only has to play through a Spell Trap Negate at this point, which is really not so much a threat here for Drytron. Monster effects are usually more so the thing to probably stop. Although, of course, there are some good spells to stop. But, yeah, looks like Cerberus is going to come down, pitching Phil, popping Siegfried, which I don't even think has had a chance to use its negate yet. And then we're going to see Beta, pitching Ophiel, drawing one, revealing for its effect. And taking advantage of this Nightmare co-link right now to gain some additional advantage mid-combo. We're going to see Meteonis Drytron. That's going to bring back Natasha, targeting Nightmare Cerberus to gain half of that 22, picking up 1,100 additional life points here, which never hurts. It's kind of funny that both these decks are kind of opposite in that sense of terms of life point. A lot of very life point heavy costs for DDD. You know, 1,000 every standby phase, and then you have a deck like Drytron with Natasha, constantly keep gaining those life points, much like Prank Kids too. I find it that life point gain sometimes can be very, very nasty if it goes on long enough, allowing you to grind even more. Especially a deck like Drytron really doesn't have the greatest grind game. I mean, it can come back, but a lot of times it's boards that can put up kind of have diminishing returns. So Nightmare Phoenix is going to clear that Ragnarok in the Pendulum Scale. Getting another co-link draw from Unicorn and Phoenix. Tasha's back, going to steal that Gilgamesh, and we're going to see an access code, and that is going to spell game right then and there. And we are going to head into Game 3. Of course, DDD going to start first here. Obviously, it's a no-brainer, and on resolution of Kepler, we're going to see a Lancia. It looks like he did have double Lancia in hand, which is pretty rough. Has basically two ways to stop him here. And I think he also has an Ash in hand as well. We'll see if this is... Yep, he's going to Ash that Dark Contract. Really rough start here for our DDD player, but we've seen him play through, you know, turn one, played through Dweller Lancia pretty much perfectly, ending on technically 3 interruptions, 4 interruptions if you want to count the Halqifibrax. So going to go ahead and slap down Copernicus and Ragnarok here. Going to go ahead and Pendulum summon out DD Ghost. Possibly see a Halqifibrax play here, or we could see a Gilgamesh play, which I don't think Gilgamesh is the way to go, but I think that might be what he's going to do. Yeah, looks like that's what he's... Yeah, it's going to also trigger Ragnarok here, I guess, so that's one way to sort of keep comboing. Forgot about the Ragnarok effect. Looks like he's going to bring back his only target at a cost of 1,000 life points for DD Ghost. And don't really think there's much else he can do there. Just trying to put some stuff on board to not completely get OTK'd that easily. There's Drytron Nova. No interruption for that, unfortunately. And bringing out Alpha. And the slaughter is probably going to ensue here. As you guys can probably tell with how much time is left in this video. Links for Link Karibo. And now using Alpha Engrave, pitching the Zeta and going to search here now a copy of Vendread Battlelord, attributing Alpha for Zeta. Going to get a search here of probably Revendread Evolution. Always forget about the Revendread, not just Vendread Evolution. And going to play that immediately, slapping down Battlelord. And Gilgamesh, of course, does have a graveyard effect, but Battlelord is going to just make sure that doesn't resolve here whatsoever. And yeah, no more monster effects here. Hand traps turned off completely if he did have any to begin with, which I know DDD, being the deck that it is, oftentimes doesn't have that much room to fit hand traps into the main. Now we're going to see that Curious play. Dumping Battlelord off Battlelord to search Ben 10, and we'll see what he's going to send here with Curious. Probably just another Drytron name if I had to guess. So there's Gamma. Now pretty much having access to like 75% of all of his Drytrons. I believe there's 4 different names. Milling 3 off the top. I think Bait is the only one he's missing at this point, but finds Droll, Ash, and Zeta. Pitching Ben 10 for Gamma to revive an Alpha. I'm going to go ahead and search now off Ben 10 here. Probably going to grab Manju at this point. Yep, Manju is going to probably help him get access to the Megalith engine, which I don't think we've seen just yet. So either going to grab full, or is actually going to go for Tasha here, which makes sense. Probably just trying to close out the game as fast as possible. There's Drytron Fafnir. Adds the Meteonis Drytron from deck to hand. One other thing, too, about that field spell, it does have a level manipulation effect, which actually can be very good against some strategies. I remember one of the first times I played against Drytron, I was playing Speedroids, and that effect was actually used on one of my monsters, and it actually messed up my combos quite a bit because modifying levels against a deck like Speedroid can do quite a number. So we're going to see Natasha come out, gain some life points. Link for Cerberus here. Pitching Lancia, doesn't really need it at this point. Hits the Ghost. And then we're going to see a Link 4 or perhaps a Link 2. Could go for Nightmare Phoenix at this point to pop one of his scales or contract, go for a draw. But Natasha's going to come out, stealing the Gilgamesh, and our DDD player really just sees the writing on the wall at that point and go ahead and concede. So Drytron taking that match 2-1. Kind of got bodied pretty hard by DDD game 1, but came back with some pretty swift victories in games 2 and 3. Pretty much hand-trapping his opponent to death, making it so he really couldn't do much of anything. But as we saw, that turn 1 board DDD put up in game 1, very, very powerful, very effective, playing through interruptions like the deck can do, but it can't always do it, unfortunately. So that's going to do it for this round 2 feature match. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already so we can hit 20,000 subscribers. Big giveaway plans for 20K, of course. So hopefully we can get there very, very quickly. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for your very generous continued support. Yeah, and as always, WinnerKills signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one. And of course, last but not least, a huge shout out goes to our Divine Level channel members here on YouTube, and they are Zors, Cadillacs84, and Remtrox H. Thank you guys so much for your very generous and continued support of the channel.